Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, a borough of New York City. He was the fourth of 5 children born to Frederick "Fred" Trump and Mary Ann McLeod Trump. His father, Fred, was a successful real estate developer. Fred Trump built and managed affordable housing apartments in the outer boroughs of New York City, like Queens and Brooklyn. He was a very hard worker and became very wealthy through his construction business. The Trump family lived in a large house in a wealthy neighborhood called Jamaica Estates. Donald grew up in a world of business and ambition, learning from his father's success and work ethic from a very young age. His mother, Mary Ann McLeod, was an immigrant from Scotland. She came to the United States in 1930 and later became a U.S. citizen. She was a homemaker who raised Donald and his siblings, Mary Ann, Fred Jr., Elizabeth, and Robert. The family was quite close, and the children were raised with a strong sense of discipline. Fred Trump wanted his sons to be tough and competitive. He often told them that they needed to be killers in the world of business if they wanted to succeed. This environment shaped Donald's personality and his future ambitions, teaching him to think big and always strive to win in every situation he faced. From an early age, Donald was known for being energetic and assertive. His parents noticed his competitive nature and his tendency to push boundaries. He was not always the easiest child to manage, and his father worried that he needed more structure and discipline than his local schools could provide. Fred Trump believed that a more rigorous environment would help channel his son's energy in a positive direction. He saw potential in Donald but also recognized that his strong will needed to be guided carefully. This led to a significant decision about Donald's education that would change the course of his teenage years and prepare him for the challenges ahead. The family's wealth provided a comfortable upbringing, but Fred Trump also made sure his children understood the value of work. He would sometimes take his sons to his construction sites to teach them about the family business. Donald showed an early interest in real estate, watching his father negotiate deals and manage large building projects. He was fascinated by the process of construction and development. This early exposure to his father's empire planted the seeds for his own future career. It was in these working-class neighborhoods of Queens and Brooklyn, far from the glamour of Manhattan, that Donald Trump first learned the fundamentals of the real estate world. When Donald was 13 years old, his parents decided to send him to the New York Military Academy. They hoped the strict, disciplined environment would help shape his character and teach him how to be a leader. The academy was a boarding school in upstate New York, and it was a big change from his life in Queens. At the academy, students wore uniforms, followed a rigid schedule, and participated in military drills. Donald adapted well to this new setting. He excelled in sports, particularly baseball and football, and became a student leader. His time there taught him how to follow orders, how to lead others, and how to present himself with confidence. After graduating from the military academy in 1964, Donald attended Fordham University in the Bronx for 2 years. However, he had bigger ambitions. He knew he wanted to study business at one of the best schools in the country. He transferred to the Wharton School of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania, a prestigious institution known for its excellent business program. There, he studied economics and real estate, learning the theories and strategies behind the business world. He graduated in 1968 with a degree in economics. His education at Wharton gave him the formal knowledge to complement the practical lessons he had learned from his father over the years. With his college degree, Donald officially joined his father's company, Elizabeth Trump and Son. He worked alongside his father, learning the ins and outs of the real estate business. He was ambitious and did not want to stay in the outer boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn forever. His dream was to make a name for himself in Manhattan, the center of New York City's power and glamour. He saw opportunities that his father, who was more conservative in his business dealings, had overlooked. Donald wanted to build big, flashy projects that would get everyone's attention and establish the Trump name as a symbol of luxury and success. His big break came in the 1970s. New York City was facing serious financial problems at the time, but Donald saw this as an opportunity. He used his father's connections and his own persuasive skills to secure loans and tax breaks from the city. In 1971, he took control of the family company and later renamed it the Trump Organization. His first major project was the renovation of the old Commodore Hotel near Grand Central Station. He transformed it into the Grand Hyatt Hotel, which opened in 1980. This project was a huge success and proved that Donald Trump could handle large, complex deals in the competitive world of Manhattan real estate. Following the success of the Grand Hyatt, Donald Trump's next project became his most famous. He bought a property on Fifth Avenue and built Trump Tower, a stunning 58-story skyscraper with luxury apartments, offices, and high-end shops. When it opened in 1983, its gold-plated interiors and dramatic waterfall made it an instant landmark and a symbol of 1980s extravagance. Trump Tower became his home and the headquarters of the Trump Organization. It cemented his reputation as a master builder and a major player in New York City. The building was more than just a real estate project, it was a powerful statement about his brand and his vision of success. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Trump continued to expand his empire. He moved into the casino industry in Atlantic City, New Jersey, opening several large hotel casinos, including the Trump Taj Mahal. He also bought an airline, the Trump Shuttle, and a professional football team in the United States Football League. He became a celebrity, known for his lavish lifestyle and his best-selling 1987 book, The Art of the Deal. However, this rapid expansion also came with risks. By the early 1990s, some of his businesses were in deep financial trouble, and his casino companies had to file for bankruptcy protection multiple times to reorganize their debts. Despite these financial challenges, Donald Trump proved to be incredibly resilient. He was skilled at using his fame to keep his brand in the public eye. He owned the Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA beauty pageants from 1996 to 2015, which kept him connected to the world of entertainment. His ability to bounce back from setbacks became a key part of his public image. He learned how to navigate complex financial situations and always found a way to come out on top, even when his companies were struggling. This experience taught him valuable lessons about branding and the power of public perception. His fame reached a new level in 2004 when he became the host of the reality television show, The Apprentice. On the show, contestants competed for a job in his company, and each week, Trump would eliminate one of them with his famous catchphrase, "You're fired." The show was a massive hit and ran for 14 seasons. It introduced Donald Trump to a whole new generation of Americans, not as a real estate developer, but as a decisive and powerful business icon. This TV stardom gave him a platform and a level of name recognition that would become incredibly valuable when he decided to enter the world of politics. For many years, Donald Trump had hinted at the possibility of running for president. He had explored campaigns in the past, but had never fully committed. In June 2015, he made a surprising announcement. He was officially running for president as a Republican. Many political experts and media figures did not take his candidacy seriously at first. They saw him as a celebrity entertainer, not a serious politician. However, Trump connected with a large group of voters who felt ignored by the political establishment in both parties. His status as a political outsider became one of his greatest strengths. His campaign themes were simple and powerful. He promised to make America great again, a slogan that resonated with many working-class Americans who felt left behind by economic changes and globalization. He was a populist, meaning he appealed directly to the common people and their concerns. He promised to build a wall on the US-Mexico border to stop illegal immigration, renegotiate international trade deals that he said were unfair to the United States, and bring back manufacturing jobs. His rallies were large and energetic, and he used social media, especially Twitter, to speak directly to his supporters without going through the traditional news media. During the Republican primary elections, Trump defeated a large field of experienced politicians, including governors and senators. His unconventional style and direct, often controversial language set him apart from his rivals. He was not afraid to attack his opponents, and his supporters loved his willingness to challenge political correctness. He presented himself as a strong leader who was not afraid to speak his mind and fight for the American people. By the spring of 2016, he had secured the Republican nomination, a result that shocked the political world and showed the strength of his connection with voters. In the general election, he faced the Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, a former First Lady, Senator, and Secretary of State. The polls and most experts predicted a victory for Clinton. However, on Election Day, November 8, 2016, Trump won a stunning victory. Although he lost the national popular vote by nearly 3 million votes, he won the Electoral College, securing key victories in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. His victory was one of the biggest political upsets in American history. He became the first U.S. president with no prior government or military experience, and his journey from real estate developer and reality TV star to the presidency was complete. On January 20, 2017, Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States. In his inaugural address, he promised to put America first, and, that theme really guided his entire presidency. His administration focused on a conservative and populist agenda. One of his first major legislative achievements was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. This law significantly lowered taxes for corporations and most individuals, which he argued would stimulate economic growth. His administration also focused heavily on deregulation, cutting many federal rules and regulations that he believed burdened American businesses and slowed down the economy. A key part of Trump's promise to his conservative base was his vow to appoint conservative judges to federal courts. During his 4-year term, he successfully appointed 3 justices to the Supreme Court: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These appointments created a solid conservative majority on the nation's highest court, a legacy that will influence American law for decades to come. His ability to deliver on this promise was a major reason why he maintained strong support from evangelical Christians and other conservative voters throughout his time in office. In foreign policy, President Trump challenged many long-standing agreements and alliances. He withdrew the United States from the Paris Agreement on climate change and the Iran nuclear deal. He started a trade war with China, imposing tariffs on Chinese goods in an effort to protect American industries. He also renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, with Canada and Mexico, replacing it with the new United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. He held historic summits with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to step into North Korea. His approach was often unpredictable and broke with traditional diplomacy. President Trump's communication style was unlike any president before him. He used Twitter as his primary way of speaking to the public, announcing policies, criticizing opponents, and sharing his thoughts at all hours of the day. This direct line to his supporters allowed him to bypass the mainstream media, which he often accused of being fake news. While his supporters appreciated his unfiltered and authentic voice, his critics argued that his use of social media was often divisive, spread misinformation, and undermined the dignity of the presidency. His communication strategy changed the way politicians interact with the public and remains a defining feature of his political identity. President Trump's term was marked by significant controversy and political division. In 2019, he became the 3rd president in U.S. history to be impeached by the House of Representatives. The impeachment was related to a phone call in which he asked the president of Ukraine to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, and his son. The House charged him with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. In February 2020, the Senate, which had a Republican majority, voted to acquit him on both charges. The impeachment process was highly partisan and deepened the political divide in the country. In 2020, Trump ran for re-election against the Democratic nominee, former Vice President Joe Biden. The campaign took place during the COVID-19 pandemic, which had a major impact on the country and the election. After the election on November 3, 2020, Joe Biden was declared the winner. However, Trump refused to concede defeat. He claimed, without providing conclusive evidence, that the election had been stolen from him through widespread voter fraud. He and his allies filed dozens of lawsuits in several states to challenge the results, but these legal efforts were almost all unsuccessful in court. His refusal to accept the election results led to a tense period of transition. On January 6, 2021, the day Congress was scheduled to certify the election results, Trump held a large rally in Washington, D.C. He encouraged his supporters to march to the U.S. Capitol to protest the outcome. A violent mob of his supporters then stormed the Capitol building, overwhelming police and forcing lawmakers to evacuate. The attack was an unprecedented assault on American democracy. In the aftermath, the House of Representatives impeached Trump for a second time, charging him with incitement of insurrection. He was once again acquitted by the Senate, but this time after he had already left office. Donald Trump left the White House on January 20, 2021, but he did not fade from public life. He moved to his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and remained a powerful and influential figure in the Republican Party. He continued to hold rallies, endorse candidates who were loyal to him, and criticize the Biden administration. He maintained his false claims about the 2020 election, which became a central belief for many of his supporters. His post-presidency was defined by his continued political activity, his ongoing legal battles, and his clear intention to run for president again in the future. After leaving office, Donald Trump faced a number of serious legal challenges. He became the first former U.S. president to be criminally indicted. In May 2024, a New York jury found him guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a hush money payment made before the 2016 election. Despite this historic conviction, his political support remained strong. He also faced federal indictments related to his handling of classified documents and his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, as well as a separate case in Georgia. These legal troubles became a central part of his 2024 campaign, which he framed as a fight against a weaponized justice system. On November 15, 2022, Trump announced his third campaign for the presidency. He easily won the Republican nomination, defeating his rivals and demonstrating his continued control over the party. The 2024 campaign was intense and was marked by 2 assassination attempts against him. In July 2024, at a rally in Pennsylvania, he was shot in the ear by a gunman. A month later, in September, a man was arrested with a rifle near his golf course in Florida. These events shocked the nation and added another dramatic chapter to his political journey. He ran on a platform of mass deportations, new tariffs, and an America First foreign policy. The 2024 election pitted him against the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, after President Joe Biden withdrew from the race. On November 5, 2024, Donald Trump won the election, securing a victory in both the Electoral College and the popular vote. His win made him only the second president in U.S. history, after Grover Cleveland, to serve non-consecutive terms. At age 78, he also became the oldest person ever elected to the presidency. He was inaugurated for his second term on January 20, 2025, promising to unite the country and restore its strength on the world stage. His return to the White House was a remarkable political comeback. It showed the deep and lasting connection he had built with a large portion of the American electorate. His supporters saw him as a fighter who was willing to challenge the status quo for their benefit. His critics, however, worried about the future of democratic institutions and the rule of law. As he began his second term, the nation remained deeply divided, and the impact of his policies and leadership style continued to be a subject of intense debate. His journey, full of unprecedented highs and lows, was far from over. Donald Trump's life has been a story of constant reinvention, from a real estate developer in New York to a global celebrity, and ultimately, the 47th President of the United States. His impact on American politics and culture is undeniable. He transformed the Republican Party, shifting its focus toward populism and nationalism. His Make America Great Again movement, often called Trumpism, created a powerful political force that reshaped the country's political landscape. His presidency challenged established norms in Washington, from his use of social media to his approach to foreign policy, leaving a lasting mark on the institution. His family has been a central part of his public life and career. He has been married 3 times and has 5 children: Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, and Barron. His older children have been deeply involved in his business and political careers. His sons, Don Jr. and Eric, run the Trump Organization, while his daughter Ivanka served as a senior advisor in his first administration. His current wife, Melania Trump, served as a quiet but influential First Lady. In 2025, as he began his second term, his family remained a visible and important part of his inner circle, continuing to play a role in his public and private life. As of August 2025, during the first year of his second term, President Trump remains a figure of immense public interest. His health became a topic of discussion after a July 2025 diagnosis of chronic venous insufficiency, a common circulatory condition for his age, which his doctors described as benign. He continues to face ongoing legal challenges from his time as a private citizen, but his return to the presidency has shifted the legal landscape. His supporters see him as a strong and decisive leader who is fighting for them, while his opponents view him as a threat to democratic values and institutions. The debate over Donald Trump's legacy will continue for many years. He is a figure who evokes strong emotions from both supporters and detractors. Was he a brilliant businessman who understood the forgotten people of America, or a divisive showman who damaged the fabric of the nation? His story is a reflection of a turbulent time in American history. His journey from the world of New York real estate to the White House and back again is a testament to his ambition, resilience, and unique ability to connect with millions of voters. His story is not just the biography of one man, it is a chapter in the ongoing story of America itself.